This is Exavier Williams. You're now watching Daygo Sports Show.
To Southern California, Daygo. This is San Diego. Hungry for them pesos. Maybe you should stay close. Stay close. Hey, they know. Say, hey bro. Every day they lay low. Waving as the day goes by.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Daygo Sports Show. Today we travel to Hoover High School and are proud to introduce athletic standout Exavier Williams. The outstanding basketball star decided to lend his talents to the football team, where his efforts assisted in making Hoover one of the top teams in the city. Working on the defense, offense, and special teams, he was able to put up impressive numbers for his individual stats while also adding W's to his team's win column. The Who Rider was just as impressive on the basketball court as he is on the football field. One of the best three-point shooters, overall scorers, assist leaders, and defenders in the city. He is now headed to Southern Utah University, where he will be adding on to his athletic and academic resume.
Welcome back to the Daygo Sports Show. We're at Hoover High School with Exavier Williams. Appreciate the time and opportunity. He's a young student athlete on his way to Southern Utah on a full ride football scholarship. So we're going to touch in with him and about his journey. So, X, back at Hoover right now in the football stadium. First memory pops in your brain right now.
Probably, I'd say the first league home game we had. I think it was a first hyped up game. The other team was talking trash, so when they played here, it was the intense game. And then I think it was the fourth quarter. I had a kick return, and then it kind of ended the game, but put the distance in the game where they couldn't catch up, and it just was hype after that. It was a little fun.
Who was the opponent?
Kearney.
So, first memory pops into you as a intense rivalry.
Yeah.
With Kearney. Okay. So, we're sharing your journey. You finished the season, your senior year, number 1 in the city of San Diego receiving yards, number 6 in the state. And that was your first full year playing high school football. Tremendous accolade. That's hard to believe for me. Multi-sport athlete. So touch on the youth part of the journey to get you to high school. Where did you play your youth sports at? Start with both the sports you played in youth.
I played football, basketball, touched on baseball and whatever, but my main sport was football until 6th grade, and then I stopped and just focused on basketball all the way till junior year. I played with Los Toros on a team with a couple of people like Jeremiah and Eric White and a couple of players. I took a break 7th grade to go play basketball at an area in Helena Park for on net, and I just played with them until high school ball, and then COVID happened. Freshman year, I played basketball.
What about baseball? You said you played a little bit of youth baseball. Where'd you play it?
I played with the Los Toros teammates with Christian and them. I don't even know where it was. I think it was Paradise Hills, but I had not touched on baseball again.
No, yeah, the one and done on baseball.
Yeah, that's
okay.
First one.
So you tell us what year you started playing in high school. Did you start playing football?
I started junior year. I played 3 games, and then I stopped. And then I came back from football when I heard my friend was coming to Hoover. He was a quarterback, and that was kind of not the main thing we needed. No shade on the other quarterback we had, but that was the main thing, for me being a receiver that we needed to have. And then as soon as he got here, we started working out 7-on-7, and I started taking football serious. And then after that, things started clicking. So that was.
What did you do at the end of your junior year, summertime, to prepare you? It seemed like you said, I'm going to start taking football serious going to my senior year. So what preparation did you do individually and collectively as a team? Because Hoover, Coach Gray, and shout out Coach Will Gray, has the team when he came over and built it up from where it was at to where it's at now and on the way where it's going to. So talk to us about some of that effort you guys put in an off season to get ready for the senior year?
Well, came in the beginning of the season. I started doing receiver workouts and stuff with like Coach Brown. He's the receiver coach here. I still worked out with basketball because they do like explosive workouts, and that obviously helps on the football field. So I was in between football and basketball workouts, and then just getting back on the field, running routes, catching the ball, and like just being on the field helps in general, translating back into football. So that's all I did was just get back on the football.
At what point in your senior year did you realize, like, hey, you already knew you're a good athlete, you have the skill set, but when did you realize, like, man, I'm above and beyond the average player out here, and I'm having a lot of success? What game did that for you, where you knew, like, I'm about to really have a successful year of the fitness?
I think like when we had lost this game actually pretty bad. It was in a Vegas team that came out here, and they were not no D5, D4, or a D3 team. And we had our quarterback. He was very hurt that game, but like I was able to still like, I didn't score, but I had like held my part on defense, offense, and kick return in that game. And I think that was like when I was like, all right, I'm not just doing good because it's D5 or 4. I'm like actually good at football. So after that, that's when I started gaining more confidence and playing better, even more better. So yeah.
Favorite game your senior year of this?
Senior year, it's gonna be Canyon Hills or Kearney. Those are the only 2 home games won. Every other game was like close. Crawford was a very fun game. Even though we lost that game was fun. Just because like the tempers were super high on both sides. It was obviously a rival game. And it was a homecoming game. That was probably the best game, but like with the outcome of a win, I think Canyon Hills was the best one because it was a back and forth game. And I knew a couple of players on their team, so it was just fun playing against people that I knew. And then, that was the best game.
So Canyon Hills, you know, they're an up and coming team with a new coach last year, and I don't know what their record was, but they played tougher than what their record showed. So for you guys to say, hey, they haven't only won one game or no games, was it like, hey, we overestimated or underestimated them, and then you guys had to say, hey, we got to take you guys serious. They're out here balling.
I think it was because it was obviously our senior night, so we had to get some players in for senior night. But I don't think we ever like took them easy because they had played some I think they were D4, so they played some better teams than us, and you can't judge them by the scores they were losing by or whatever. So I think that we obviously knew some athletes on their team. We watched them play, so we didn't take them easy or nothing. But I think it was like the fourth quarter or the third quarter, like they couldn't stop the run at all. They were focused. This was like one of the first teams that was not the first. This was like one of the main teams that didn't care about the line at all. They didn't change no line. So they just constantly focused on the pass. They would bring a linebacker out, a safety at a corner, and then it allowed our running back to just go crazy. He went crazy that game. That was like the difference maker that game.
And shout out to Sir Archer, too, 2,000-yard rusher. We'll be coming to the Daygo Sports Show soon. So Canyon Hills was your most memorable game. What was your toughest opponent in high school? I would say since your senior year was your first full year, what was your toughest opponent last year and toughest game? Or they could be the same.
I think it was the toughest opponent was the Lake Mead team. They were from Vegas. They were pretty good out in Vegas. The coaches knew what they were doing. They had a great scheme. They like forced everything inside. Their D-line was amazing, so they would get back there quick. My quarterback was hurt. We had to use Sir, and we used like 3 quarterbacks that game. I think our toughest game was San Ysidro.
Was it here or at San Ysidro?
It was here. I think just because they lost to Kearney, and Kearney, like, they didn't pass the eye test. San Ysidro did not pass the eye test at all. I think our game plan and everything, like our focus, one into San Ysidro was just, we like, basically like just took them like a little cupcake walk. Right. And they came out, played better than they looked, but that was our toughest game because we just couldn't get nothing started on offense. And then it helped us because like it gave us like a slap in the face, like, hey, not like crazy better than anyone.
some humble pie.
Yeah,
Right.
because we have been doing good all off season, 7-on-7, all that. That was our first loss, and then it was like, all right, back to like square one. And we had to start from there again, and that was much better.
Share with us the impact Coach Gray has had on you specifically and on the Hoover Cardinal football program, because I know when he came over and took over, I think the COVID year, coming out of COVID, that, Hoover wasn't, in the level of prominence that it is now, building up and getting better. So share with us the impact Coach Will Gray had for you and for the team in general.
For me, Coach Gray was like, I had kind of like, not knew him, but like heard about him a couple because he coached basketball, obviously. His son played basketball. I knew him. I think I really started like getting cool with him like junior year or my senior year, junior year. He was just a coach. He was chill.
Right.
Obviously, he was a funny guy and all that, so it was easy to click with him.
Shout out Coach Will.
He was a competitor just as much as me, so I think like that also helped. He kind of like turned around the football from what I know, because I remember Hoover was like super duper bad.
What things did he change to help Hoover get the respect that it has now within the sports community?
Well, this year I know for sure he started bringing out more people I don't know. He had like more camera guys out to like publicize Hoover more, and like I don't know. He put Hoover more out there and like let people know like Hoover's like on the come up. I guess
it's not so old Hoover that people
it's,
thought like you guys got some dogs out here and compete. Right.
I think him having like, I don't know if Hoover had this before or not, but him starting Hoover from football from spring to beginning out with normal school shouldn't be good. I think that was what like really kind of like got everyone like, if you're serious about it, come play. If you're not, then don't even try. Right. And I think that was what kind of like made the difference this year than the last couple of years. So I think that's what Coach Gray had to be.
And since you were a multi-sport athlete, let's touch on basketball briefly. So, toughest opponent, like what position did you play first off? Point guard. So, what was the toughest opponent you went one-on-one, another point guard? And then toughest team if it's not the same?
The toughest team is probably, toughest opponent was probably guarding the last game we had. I actually take pride in my defense. Except for some reason this game I couldn't stop this guy. He had a great game. It was against El Camino. I don't know his name or whatever, but he was a good guard. He played kind of like different than most guards, so that was the hardest part. That was like the toughest player to guard one-on-one.
Toughest game that you had that you guys overcame and won, or just the toughest opponent?
The toughest opponent we had was obviously we played against Modern Day Santa Ana out there. So that was a very, very tough game. The toughest game that we overcame was we played against RBV, and they're D2, but they weren't like no D2 team. We started our little rough patch during this part, but we were down by 17, I think in the fourth or third quarter with a couple minutes left. We came back and won it in overtime or just a normal game, and that was probably like the toughest opponent that we had overcame. But yeah.
And your most memorable game basketball for you? Where you balled out, I don't know, whatever your career high is, or you just knew that you got a couple dunks, or like whatever you did, like, this is my favorite game. I know I balled out. I had the most fun for basketball.
I think, I don't know, my favorite game I have...
a couple, if it's a couple.
I think my favorite game this season was it was either against a team in Viewmont where I had a great game. We ended up losing by 2 to a buzzer beater, and I didn't decide that game. But that was either that game or the game against Helix, where we played against a bunch of people I know at Helix, like Jackson.
Shout out Jackson. Dang.
Jason, and like a couple players on Helix that I knew. And it was the first game back from football. I got used to playing where I got to play on my friend's game, all the basketball teammates.
That was at the Madison tournament, right? That's what I was announcing there, and that's when I ran it to you again and gave you your props for football. And you guys played Jackson.
Yeah.
Right, I remember that.
That was the best game this year because I had a triple-double that game. My shot wasn't really hitting, but coming back first game, having a triple-double was first triple-double ever was kind of cool. That was probably my favorite game. Yeah.
So football's over, basketball's over, you were getting looked at by some colleges, and you end up selecting Southern Utah. So before you selected it, then you went out there on a visit.
I went out there on a visit.
So share with us your first impression of Utah when you got off the plane, being a kid from Cal, Southern Cal, Daygo in particular.
Well, I drove out there. The drive was actually super nice. It was nice. Once you pass Vegas, the drive is easy going through rocks. I'm not much of a nature person, but like that kind of like made me like, okay, this area is super nice. It's cold. It's super freezing. It wasn't even like, it was like the wind like had like this part of my face and my body numb, and then the other side was whatever. But it was cold. I think like the reason why I actually chose to go out there was because I have friends out there, Tyson Line and Chris Brown. They also committed there, but like when we got to hang out with the players were super chill. They didn't make us feel like we were like some recruits. They actually made us feel like we were part of the team. I think we did like everything that we could have in the 2 days that I was there.
Were you the only recruit from Daygo out there at the time?
No, I went with Tyson.
Tyson and Chris. Okay, so you guys went out there collectively for official business.
Yeah,
Okay. Shout out to Tyson and Chris. Well, from Mary Mason High School.
There's about 7 to 8 of us out there. I think everyone from that visit actually committed, besides one. Everyone out there from that visit committed.
What was it that when you were out there, like, hey, this is a college for me? What was the one thing that you realized? I'm going to Southern Utah to play college football.
Well, I didn't actually have the offer from Southern Utah when I went on my visit, which was kind of odd, because like asking all the players and pick players on visits. Everyone had an offer there. Okay. So they were like, you're probably going to get the offer from there. They probably just wanted to see you. And I was like, all right. So I think I had got the offer the last day there, and I think I committed the next day. But I think it was like just that the players being that close, and I don't think they were much that good like 3-4 years ago. They got a whole new coaching staff, and they started winning games. And they're kind of on like the come up, I guess. So I think them being on the come up and like needing more athletes and all that was kind of like the thing that got me there, and the players, and them giving me a chance at a deal and level, kind of like
favorite teacher or favorite class.
I have this thing. I have a favorite teacher. Her name is Miss Daygo. I've had her since sophomore year. She's amazing. Helps with all the sports and all that. And then I have a favorite class, and that class is it's taught two things: econ and whatever the other one was. And those are my favorite. That was my favorite class. Like I had some friends in that class, but he was a student athlete just like me. But he went to Imperial, he went to Imperial, and he was just very chill. Just very chill in general. Always talked to me about the games. Understood like being sore, and like understood how it was to be a student athlete and all that. So that was probably the best class I had.
So Exavier, share with us your family influence that's helped you and motivate you throughout your youth career, and high school career. Share with us how much your family means to you.
Well, family means like everything to me. Honestly, I like to have. No matter if you're like half family or whatever, I like to have a big family and all that. So I think my influence is my father. He like kind of like instilled like working out is like no sport or any sport. Working out is like the main thing in life. Like you have to be fit and all that. So he always made me work out. Told me like he didn't go far in sports because of whatever reasons, but he kind of knew what he had to change, or knew what it took to be like a good football player or a good basketball athlete in general. So he would always watch work. At work he would send me workouts or come up with workouts to do, come up with workout plans and all that, and then we would do it, see how like the results came out or whatever, and then he was my biggest like sports. I don't know how to say it, sports
Fan, your number one fan.
Yeah, him and my mom were my number. My sister was my number one fan, and then those two,
The biggest support.
yeah, they were the biggest supporters.
Helping out, take you to practice,
Yeah.
basketball practice, Los Toros practice, the whole vibe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my dad, he coached. So my dad was his main thing was DB. I like receiver, but I played both. He would always help me at DB, but he would, as a DB, he thinks he could guard anything in the So he would like tell me what to change at my release or like how to fix up my routes, and I eventually listened to him. So it kind of like helped me throughout football season.
And that meant a lot for you to excel on the football field, knowing your family's in the stands watching you.
Yeah, that was...
Number one fan, your sister, and your biggest supporters, your parents. So what would you want to share with the up-and-comers going from 8th grade to 9th grade here at Hoover, or the underclassmen are still here? What kind of advice would you want to share with them as you progress into the next stage of your training?
I honestly think it's the work putting outside of office, taking practice like 100% serious. Like even like if you get into arguments with your teammates, as long as you know that it's just on the field and you're trying to get each other better, that's the best part about it. The workout you put in after practice, so like before practice, I'd say what you eat. That was the biggest thing I had to change after football, is like eating more to gain weight with football. Basically just putting in extra work outside of practice. That really wasn't good.
That is a special thing to have your family involved in your life.
Yeah.
And definitely want to acknowledge this young man's accomplishments. He was first team All-City League, first in San Diego in receiving yards, 6th in the state of California in receiving yards, which is tremendous for someone's first full year of playing football. So amazing accomplishments again. Definitely wanted to give you your spotlight for your journey and all the flowers, because you should have been, in my opinion, how can you not be first team CIS? But that's not up to me. So, but you definitely were well deserved. And again, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Daygo Sports Show, we out.
From virtual unknown in high school football to the lead receiver in the city. What a difference a year makes. Exavier has demonstrated that by removing limitations will show you how far you can truly go. With the opportunity he has earned at Southern Utah University, only time will tell the academic, athletic, and professional success he will achieve.
What's going on, PPR fans? I'm here with Exavier Williams and the whole Hoover football team. Exavier, you guys won 42-6. You guys absolutely dominated on the offense. What was your mentality this week in practice, and was that your goal today?
It's just ruin the homecoming and finish the league off strong. That's it.
That's it? That's it. Well, you got in the end zone 4 times. Talk to me, which one of those was your favorite?
The one where my quarterback looked like Patrick Mahomes and threw a ball that I could catch.
Love it. Now, pregame, you said you guys were going to go to the state champions. Tell me, is this team the best kept secret in San Diego County?
I don't know about a secret, but we are the best team in the county, yes.
Yeah? Awesome. I look forward to seeing you guys.
This is Exavier Williams. You're now tuned in to Matrix Sports.
Matrix ENT.